So, good evening again, guys. It was a profitable week last week, and I'm going into this new week quite optimistic, right? That we're going to get similar performances to last week. Now, um, I mentioned uh, in last week's video that uh, I was going to be expecting both gold and silver to, create new highs. I also um, expected a bullish run from Bitcoin, although that part of the video was clipped out. I was limited to 20 minutes. I wanted to upload the part two, but I never got around to it. I expected a bull run in both Nasdaq and Bitcoin, but unfortunately, that did not happen on those two. So let's say it's 2/4. That's a 50% in our prediction. Gold and silver did create new highs. If you look at the weekly chart there, so yeah. So looking at just weekly, right? You can see that definitely gold created a new high. And let's just quickly switch over to silver before I go into the analysis for, yeah. So this is weekly for silver, and we can see, sorry, we can see it also created a new high last week. So what do we expect going into next week for both gold and silver? So let me go back to gold, and we'll look at what gold has for us. Yeah, so this is gold. We're looking at the weekly chart here, but let's go down to 4 hours. I believe that there are several opportunities on a 4 hour candle or 4 hour close from last week, which we can benefit from. So, yeah, you can see that towards the end of last week, there was initial very strong bullish run early last week, but as the week progressed, that upward momentum was stalled and there was a sharp dip on Friday. Now, that sharp dip was still capped by this 50 period moving average. And with that sharp drop, I expect gold to resume its bullish run into next week. So early next week, maybe New York session on Monday or early hours of Tuesday, I do expect to see a gold resume that bull run well into next week. There are no signs for now that there's any pause in this in gold buy. Now, I just want to horizontal, yeah. So I just want to show this that we can also see that this previous high from gold from a few weeks back now acted as a support to the market. You can see, let me zoom in, let me zoom out a little. Yeah, you can see that this previous high now became the support for the recent downturn in gold. And from that place, I expect gold to make even higher highs. If we zoom out on gold, should I take it to daily? Maybe we'll see something on daily. Sorry. So yeah, on daily, I still expect this new week that we're going into, I expect to see yet another all-time high from gold. Now, where is it going to get to? I feel the final destination for gold, at least in the short to medium term, is somewhere around $5,000. Then we'll now begin to look at what happens around $5,000. Is it going to go sideways? Is it going to go back down? But initially, gold is heading somewhere to $5,000. So just keep that, be on the watch out. Every pullback you see is just another opportunity for you to buy. You can see this sharp pullback here was an opportunity to buy. You can see a mild one here, an opportunity to buy. Now we can see another pullback here, which should be a clear indication for buyers to come back in. So that is gold. Let me quickly do silver. Yeah. So let's go back to 4 hours on silver. And let's look at what we can see there. So it's a similar story for silver, right? We can see that there was that very strong bull run last week from gold, and then towards the end of the week, it dropped sharply. And well, those of you that analyze candle structures and candles, you can see that there are quite a number of exhaustion candles here around this zone on silver, right around the 8609 all the way to 8725. Right, you can see there are a lot of exhaustion candles, a confluence of exhaustion candles on silver. It didn't get to the 50 period moving average, which I would have loved it to do, and get that rejection of the 50 period moving average. But as things stand, I am still going to be looking out for buy entries. Now, where are our buy entries? Sorry. Uh, yeah. So our buy entries pretty much whenever. Let me make this a little bit bolder. Our buy entries will be whenever the 10 period crosses above the the 50 period moving average. That will be a good indication for us to buy. Now there are some exceptions where we would not buy, maybe early, like I said, early hours of Monday. That's not usually a good time to trade. But if we see that crossover happening, maybe early, late Monday, US session on Monday, or early hours of Tuesday, then definitely we'll be taking up that trade. Now let me just go back to gold. I didn't do this on gold, so let me just do that for gold as well. So you, sorry. So same thing on gold. Once we see that crossover for the moving average, once the 10 crosses over the 50, then we'll jump into the market. Again, excluding early hours of Monday. I don't trade early hours of Monday and Friday generally as a rule, because I noticed that this particular strategy that I trade has a higher failure rate early hours of Monday and also throughout Friday. So I try to avoid. You can even see an example. This is a bullish crossover on Friday, which resulted in a sharp drop. So if I had taken this trade on Friday, I would have been burnt severely. So that's just something to note about this. Now, if for some astute traders out there who might want to take multiple trades, definitely for every time the 10 crosses above the 15, you can add more buys to that, and you can also wait for the 1 hour to also turn bullish, for the 1 hour to cross over the 50 period moving average. That will also be a good opportunity to buy. The last time we had this crossover during last week, it was not sustained, unfortunately. But if I see another one early next week, I would definitely be taking that. So before I round up this video, let me just take us quickly to Bitcoin and also Nasdaq. Yep. So Bitcoin pretty much has been flat. Friday going into the weekend. Usually that's the case for Bitcoin. We rarely see a lot of activity on Bitcoin over the weekend. However, Bitcoin, in my opinion, has resumed the bull rush. I do belong to a number of platforms that they believe that Bitcoin is still destined to go down a bit more. But once I see this, I've already seen the crossover on my daily charts. Uh, Coupled with this strong bullish move from Bitcoin, I'm already buying. I'm already in my buy mode. So what I'm just waiting for now from Bitcoin is to, sorry, I always have this problem with I'm sure I've complained on several of my other videos. Okay, yeah. So what I'll just be waiting for, looking for early next week on Bitcoin is a bullish crossover of my moving averages, and I'll resume buy on Bitcoin. Bitcoin has been pretty. I used a few months last year to test this strategy with Bitcoin on the daily and 1 hour combination, and it's been quite effective. So now daily is bullish. I'll just look out for bullish crossover on 1 hour and I'll follow. And my stop loss will be somewhere around 94, maybe 250 as the stop loss. First target will be the previous high. If it takes that out, then I'll just leave the profit open for higher highs. So, last but not least, I'll go to Nasdaq. Now, Nasdaq was not that responsive last week. Well, you win some, you lose some, right? Gold and silver was a gem to trade last week, made quite some pips, but in the case of Nasdaq, it was quite. I made some pips early in the week, and then all I made was taken back from me towards the end of the week. You can see that the week started out bullish, and then it crashed. So that was not too. That was not too. Uh, let me take words from a fellow trader. That was not too sexy, right? So right now, although Nasdaq, in my opinion, is still strongly bullish, we had a bullish crossover here, wasn't sustained, had a bullish crossover here. This was the best uh, crossover we had. That went quite nicely, but it wasn't sustained really. And then, like I said, this crossover and this crossover was not really profitable. So we've already had a very deep pullback somewhere around here. So I think that should prompt Nasdaq to the next bullish crossover on Nasdaq should be quite a significant one. So fingers crossed. Like I said, on Bitcoin, I'm going to be very bullish next week once I see my bullish crossover. Same thing with gold and silver, but I'm looking for crossovers. The main crossovers I'm looking for will be on 15 minutes. But if I see on 1 hour as well, I'll add that to my 15-minute crossover buys and hold it maybe from late Monday to maybe Thursday or possibly Friday. As I mentioned earlier, I do not place new trades on Friday, but I do manage if I have open trades, I try to manage them on Fridays, either close them or adjust the stop loss. But I tend not to enter new trades on Friday. So basically, that's it. That's my outlook for next week. Gold and silver should create new highs sometime during next week, and gold and I'm sorry, Bitcoin and Nasdaq should also follow suit. Although not create new highs, but we should see significant bullish movement on those pairs come next week. So wishing you guys a very lovely trading week next week, and let's share our results back come the end of the week. Have a nice day.